Hi, and welcome to this quick tool review. We're looking at another product from Vevor. This time we're going to take a look at a belt sander. It's the smallest of the thin belt sanders that they sell. It's a 1" by 30. The more common one that I see most machinists and especially knife makers using are the 2 by 72. The big advantage of a longer belt is the belt lasts longer because there's more abrasive material that you can use before it wears out. So simply more material. Plus it's wider. This is 1". There are some advantages to narrower, which means you can get smaller parts around angles potentially. But this is a smaller motor in this guy. This is a horizontal and vertical, 550 watt, which is about 3/4 horsepower, 200 to 5,500 RPM. Brushless motor belt sander. All right, let's take a look. Let's open this guy up and see what it looks like. Okay. I assume there's going to be some assembly required. Kind of looks like. Comes with a manual. Some really tiny belts. It's amazing that these are 30" belts. That's almost a yard around there, or almost a meter around there, a little bit shy, about 6 inches shy, or I don't know, what is that? That's like 12 centimeters or 18 centimeters shy. Anyways, that doesn't look much like it, but anyway, it comes with the belt. So we got some pulleys here, some really nice metal bits here. So it looks like there's some assembly. That's not a problem. There's the speed controller for the motor. I'm wondering if this is like a sewing machine motor. There's a lot of those servo sewing machine motors out there, very inexpensive on eBay. I don't know if that's what this is, but we'll take a look. Yeah, it's mostly there. So it's a double thick cardboard box, which means it came here and arrived very good shape. Double stapled, 8 staples down the side. I like that. A lot of this Chinese stuff historically has not had adequate protection and arrives broken. This one, however, looks like it's going to be fine. It's got this nasty static absorbing, static collecting stuff, but it does protect stuff. It's just horrible for the environment. If you had acetone, you could dissolve this whole thing into like a teaspoon, both these huge pieces, because it's almost all air. So it looks like right here we have the belt tensioner, which is interesting because it's kind of leaning a little bit, but that might be because of where this guy's sitting. Comes with an Allen wrench. This thing might not be square. Yeah, it is not. It doesn't have a handle on this guy to control the angle, but there's vertical, and there's below horizontal, and there's roughly horizontal. Here's the 3/4 horsepower brushless motor right here. 550 watts, supposedly. Let's see. I am guessing this guy goes in here, like so. I don't know why they didn't have the tilt adjust on a quick lever. That's kind of weird. I'll have to see what this piece is for. This might be, I honestly don't know. Manual's pretty clear though. I think for assembling this, you want it in the vertical mode because that's what all their drawings cover. These two guys are the workbenches, large and small workbenches for material to sit on. This is probably going to sit somewhere like this based on the drawing. 6 guards, yeah. This whole assembly, 3 flat grinding assembly. That goes on here when you're using it that way. See, this is for the table. This piece right here. This piece right here is for the tables, the 2 of them, this guy and this guy. So they attach here. So this is so you can remove the round wheel guide, which may be also attached to this. I think that screw goes all the way through from the looks of it. It does. They're not so obvious about that. That explains this whole deal right here. Okay, so that's how you replace that. And then this guy goes here. Not super perpendicular. One thing is, these are really thick material. These are 1/4-inch pieces of material, and they're steel, not aluminum. Pretty heavy. All of this is like 1/4-inch steel, which is impressive. That's pretty decent quality right there. I think I'd use it most of the time in this sort of setup, but I guess some people would want the wheel, so at least they give you both options. This guy goes up here. I am not going to put the guard on. Comes with 3 belts of 3 different grits. $240, $180, and $100. So I guess we'll go with the coarsest one for now. And we can remove a boatload of material if we're inclined to. And the belt, this is spring loaded, so the belt can go on pretty easily there. There you go. This guy here is an adjustment that tilts the wheel up here. I don't know if you can see it. So this guy tilts this wheel side to side. That's for tracking, for belt tracking. Pretty straightforward. Looks like the tension's fixed. There's no additional adjustment on the tension. The tension arm is just, it's preset, and that's what you get. That doesn't feel, that rotated, so that's a problem. So you don't want this piece to rotate, but there's no key on it, so that could potentially be an issue. They use a Molex connector on the side of the speed controller for this guy. That's an interesting choice. And the insulating sleeve is kind of backed off. I don't know if I pointed this out, but this unit was only 185 bucks. So considering that it's only 185 bucks, they use some pretty heavy duty materials. This isn't aluminum, which would be cheaper than steel most likely, especially to do the machining on. So you can choose tension by how far this arm out is, how far this arm is extending out here. You could see that I just added more tension to it. So that's how you set that tension. It's not terribly easy. It'd be nice if it was a rack and pinion or something, but it isn't. Stand is decent. That's also steel. Oh, that's what this guy is for. So in the vertical position, you use this table. In the horizontal position, you use this table like this. So when this thing's lying flat, screw goes through here and the table, this is the table. So we got the power on. Whoops, almost off the edge there. Okay, that's a really slow speed right there. That's all the way down to 200. And then as you adjust speed, you got to move tracking with it. Let's see. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Huh. It's a little freaky running this thing full speed. We're not there yet. There's full speed. Wow. Okay. Tracking stays pretty good. Start and stop over here. I think this should be farther in. So I left this loose because I didn't know where that was going to be. So let's get that clearance down. Don't forget the manufacturer recommends having the safety right here. You just loosen 2 Phillips here. This slides down. You can slide it off to change belts. I have a feeling that the lazy among us, including me, probably wouldn't put this on. I just keep my hands well away from there. Let's try some material next. Since this is on a round shaft that you're just tightening by pinching the end of this here, it wants to lean back because the tension is pulling the belt this way, which is, you know, it's rotating way down here. So this whole thing wants to rotate back. And I keep finding it rotating back. So if you're trying to grind something or sand something square or perpendicular to this table, it's going to be a problem because it wants to shift. See, look at that. I have it really tight too. And the belt tensioner is fighting keeping this vertical. So I've got this thing really tight right there. Anyways, let's see how the sander performs. Okay, here's mild speed. So this is some pretty thick steel, 1/2 inch roughly. It's actually metric stuff, but so it's probably 12 millimeter. Pretty nice. This is a very coarse belt we have in here. We have the 100, and it made quick work of that, no problem. It didn't even bog down that much considering it's only a 3/4 horsepower motor. Here's some stainless steel. Take that corner off in a hurry. So you notice this guy's moving around. You actually can screw the base down. They pre-drilled holes for you, which is pretty nice. And that wasn't even on high speed. So, did a really nice job there. Let's go to a finer belt and see how it deburrs. And the belt's actually lasting surprisingly well. Okay. They don't have a direction on, oh, they do have a direction on the belt. So we want it to come down this way. It looked like it was symmetrical glue joint, but still they have a direction for it. Okay, let's take it down to slow. Okay. Very nice. Wow, that made really quick work of this. Takes off material too quickly. That's not something you commonly say. This thing will seriously eat through material. I didn't mean to do that, but you can see it took off that material really quickly. Let's go for this, and this is the finest belt that it came with. Really nice. That did a great job. This is just a piece of scrap, but it deburred that really quickly. Let's see. Want to see how quickly I take the tooling marks off of here. Very quickly. Cleaned that right up. It was, this end here had been stamped cut, so it had some pretty nasty grooves in it and some burrs. Did a great job. So here's some thoughts. They should have a key on this that prevents this from rotating that you could loosen in case you do want to rotate it and put an angle on this. I could see where you might want to put an angle. I don't think I would for most purposes. I like it dead perpendicular. Let's see if we can get this in a horizontal position. I think you could use a washer over here. I would add one. And I'd probably add a thumb screw onto it too. These things are pretty expensive, so I can see why they limited them. You also should have a thumb screw on the tilt adjust, because that's the kind of thing you'd want to do, you know, somewhat on the fly, but you can't. Okay, here's running horizontally. That's nice. Ooh, that's even smoother. It really should be attached to the work surface. You know, it should be bolted down. I'm pushing pretty hard. It just takes off boatloads of material and doesn't bog down. And this is only the 3/4 horse. That's really impressive. And look at the finish you get there. Okay, you can see it before. However, one problem, this thing's rotating again. Remember we talked about that? You can see now it's not square anymore. Last but not least, I'm going to pop the belt off of here. And I'm going to switch this guy over to freewheeling version. And one thing you can see, there's already some wear on here, and this thing's brand new pretty much. We just have minutes on it so far. That's why I think you want some either carbon fiber here. They've got special backing pads that are carbon fiber, or if you can't find that, you can buy spring steel and put it on here. That'll wear too, but it's harder than this, so it lasts a little bit longer. So when you're switching to the freewheeling version, this extra range here is going to help you get the belt tension back up. Okay, and there we are. Let's see about tracking. Go to slow. All right, so this wheel here is not very well balanced, and so you're hearing it go thump, you're hearing it vibrate. And you can feel the vibration carry through the whole thing. But now if you want to sand like this, you can. I got the tension pretty high. I pushed this out as far as I could. So I've got pretty high tension, but the belt still wants to wander. It doesn't come off, fortunately, but you got to go easy when you're running like this. Or if you want to use the wheel as the backer, you can do that too. Overall, taking a look at this guy, I think it's pretty fantastic for $185. 6mm material everywhere, which is almost 1/4 inch, just slightly under. Couple problems with it that are somewhat minor. This thing wants to always lean back. That's kind of annoying. You might want to put a piece in here that would not allow this to rotate. Keep it dead vertical because it wants to go that way. So you just need a piece like right here. Maybe drill a hole through this with a horizontal piece that just keeps this from going vertical, from wanting to rack back. That's a minor quibble. A little more because it does it pretty much every time. So if you're trying to get a perfectly vertical sanding, you're going to have to hand hold it. You can't use the tables, or you'll have to change their angle. Changing over to the wheel is easy. I don't think I'd use the wheel very much because it's not well balanced and everything vibrates. I would bolt this down. I don't have it here for the demo. It removes material like crazy. Look at all this sanding dust here from just a little bit of work. That's including big chunk 1/2 inch steel and stainless steel. Went through it like butter, no problem. The belts that come with it are really nice belts, pretty darn good. I'd pay attention to the direction that says on the belt. See the arrow there? Make sure that your belt direction's correct when you put it on. Otherwise, the seam can break on you. That's why they put it on there. The tensioning system works pretty darn well, no problem. They gave you 3 belts and a pretty darn clear manual. It's very readable. And I was able to figure out how to put all the parts together just looking at the pictures in the manual without reading anything, although the explanation was okay. It tilts horizontal and vertical. It's pretty versatile. For me personally, I think the big brother of this guy would be interesting. Also, I would like to see like high-speed steel sheet over this platen, or even better, carbon fiber, so that it wouldn't get so hot. Because when you're pushing in on the platen, you're pushing the belt, the back of the belt against it. It gets pretty warm, and you can see there's already some wear on it just from the really short time I've been using it. But other than that, for 185 bucks, pretty amazing deal. I give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Hope you find it useful. Hope to see you next time.